This is day 21 of the Arukh HaShulchan OC cycle. Today we are going from Orach Chaim Siman Yud Sif Yud to Siman Yud Sif Tes Zayin, and including Sif Tes Zayin. Sif Yud Sif. They should make corners. They should make tzitzis strings coming out of the corners of the garments. Therefore, when you start putting the tzitzis into the garment, all the four corners should be properly prepared. In other words, there should be four corners. But if they're not prepared, it only has three corners. And you put in three tzitzis, and then you made for the fourth corner. Then put in the fourth tzitzis. They're all no good, even the ones you put in first, right? And you have to remove them. You have to remove all the tzitzis from the holes and put them back again. This is the psul in the Gemara of you have to make it, and it should not be made on its own. Not pre-made, made on its own. Meaning make the tzitzis. When the garment already has its four corners, so it's liable for tzitzis. It should not be made already, which means tzitzis puzzle. It shouldn't be it shouldn't be pre-made. Tzitzis pepsul, in which tzitzis pepsul. Not they're made with the tzitzis in valg, meaning before there was an obligation on the garment. So to any other psul, which applies to tzitzis when you're putting them, if they're invalid when you put them into the garment, no matter what psul it is, there's no way to be machshir that psul afterwards. Psul was made in an invalid way, and you have to go back to scratch. There are many halachos which are included in this this problem, but they all fall under this general category of tasev v'lo min asui. Yurav, close your door. This general principle is, if you put even one tzitzis in an invalid fashion, and even if you didn't completely put it in when the garment was not valid, but you're the very first knot in the tzitzis you made when the garment was puzzle, then you completed the four corners, or remove the other psul which was present, the other invalidation. The garment is tzitzis, and you finish that corner of strings. And three other corners with strings. Kulam psulim. They're all possible actually tzitzis achas until the you remove the first one, which is made puzzle, and go back and make it again in a proper way. But when you fix that one, even though you fix it after the three were already there, that's not a problem. Because the three were made already by kosher. Those who say it's possible even in this manner, in other words, the other three, there's no reason to say it. So in the previous sif, where first you had a triangular garment, and then you put on three tzitzis, and then you made it a four-corner garment, and put on the four tzitzis, the fourth one you don't have to redo. It's the first three that you have to redo. Your base. Hitel tzitzis al tzitzis. You put tzitzis on top of tzitzis. Komar, meaning, shaya babeged, beged tzitzis, shaya babeged, betzitzis, shermiara, kosher, arba kanfos. You made another four tzitzis on each one on each corner. Because of a Rambam at Berak Av Din Tezvav, the Rambam writes that he till tzitzis al tzitzis. If you put tzitzis on top of the other tzitzis, in these batel, if you had a mind to substitute and replace the first tzitzis with there, you cut off the first ones. I'm sorry, you untie the first ones. You cut them. Then the garment and the tzitzis kosher. But if you have mind to add on to the four, and not to replace the original four, even though you cut off one of the two or raise the psul tzitzis puzzle, pasal es hakol, because when you add it on, you made the whole thing pasal because of bal tosif, adding on inappropriately. And when you cut off the additional tzitzis, so now it becomes tasevel min asui, because there was a point at which the beged was pasal, and the tzitzis which were there previously, they were made. They were now made prior to its current kashrus. So therefore, they fall onto the category tasevel min asui. Shas Yosef Rishon Psula, he said the first making was pasul at Kamashara. And then he brings the brackets that this is Zeb Pasuk Piperusha Menachos. This is according to the Rambam Psak in Menachos. However, says Arukh HaShulchan, Sefer Gimel, Amnam, Ikar Davar Tomor, the source of this matter is difficult. How can you possibly pass on the first tzitzis, Hanasu Be'achsher, which are made in a kosher manner, by adding more tzitzis over Baal Tosif and transgressing Baal Tosif? The first ones are still there, and they're separate. You put 8 strings in each tzitzis as opposed to the 4 doubled over strings. So the which may or may not be a problem, but in any event, they're both separate from each other. Like it says in Sanhedrin. This is what the way the Ravid attacks the Rambam. And the Mefarshim do not reconcile or sustain the Rambam. But the truth is that Rambam holech l'shitosa. Perek Zayin Lulav. The Rambam follows his shita in the 7th parak of Hilchos Lulav. The imhosiv ot esrog o lulav. If you add another esrog or another lulav to the bundle you're holding in your hand, even though they're not connected, there's a separate lulav and a separate esrog. Also, Gam Shami Siga Raiva Mitam Shizbar. And Raiva there also complains against him because it's distinct. How can he be a Baal Tosif? I have to say, the Rambam Svir Lei Dai Kai, that which the Rambam holds that which we could say that this remains by itself, that remains itself. Ain't elam b'mosif min acher. It's only when you add on another type altogether. In other words, you add on to the lulav, you add on a bamboo shoot. So then the bamboo shoot obviously is not a min of lulav. It doesn't add on to the lulav. The came lab mino, since it's not of the same type, it doesn't ruin it. The original ones, maybe pronounce it when it stands on its own. Avalo b'mino, but not if it's its own type. The svara is ukas of Ran, and the Ran writes such a svara. Mordechai Shem Rabbeinu Shimshon also writes a svara b'ilchot tzitzis, and chenkos havaretz osachayim. Ach be'emes b'lulav shon kosvu the Rambam chozer bo b'sof yomav. Lulav, they say there that the Rambam reneged. He changed his mind at the end of his days. That even if its own mean, even if we're talking about moving the screen. Sorry, even if we even we're talking about the same mean, another second lulav, we say that each one's separate. But and he commanded that they should fix the book. Shom the mosif lo pasal. If you add on, it does not pasal. The kan lo matzinu shechazerbo. Well, if that's the case, why didn't he renege also nichos tzitzis? So it seems to me, says Arukh HaShulchan, the bekan lo chazerbo here didn't change his mind. The bekan shebebeked ze asui shnei minei tzitzis shapir havi Baal Tosif v'nifsu. That since in one beged, which combines the two, you have 2 tzitzis, it is Baal Tosif and it makes the puzzle. The svara, the ha'ilchudei kai, the svara that each remains separate, ain't ela b'lulav, you ain't tzarich le'eged. It's only by lulav where if you don't require it to be bundled together with the first the lulav to be bundled together. So each lulav remains separate because there's no chiyuv to be nega together. So therefore, even if theoretically you were ogated together, it still remains zel chudei kai v'zel chudei kai. They answer Shach. There's no connection between the loving. This would be true also in tzitzis if we held that the top knot was not required midoraisa. Because that would be, and that the Gemara says such a svara. The kind of according to that which holds tzar kesher elyon, you need to have the top knot. For sub begezesh naming 8 tzitzis, and this garment made 2 types of tzitzis, meaning the two sets of strings. Tzitzis achasam Torah v'lo shnei tzitzis. Torah says 1 tzitzis, not 2 tzitzis. Nifsal beged, therefore the beged becomes puzzle and asur l'lovsho, and you can't wear it. He brings down. He says Arutz HaShulchan says that this has a more difficult approach, but he says that the Mordechai seems to say like the Arukh HaShulchan says. Mordechai says like him, like the Arukh HaShulchan. Yudalet. But the Tur wrote, Arba titzios barba kanfosea. He had 4 tzitzis in the 4 corners. And he made additional ones. And he cut off the first ones. Nice. It's kosher in the second ones. Even a man mind to add. And it's certainly kosher if you cut the second ones off. The it's kosher with the first ones. Rashi Shom Mashma from Rashi Menachos Daf Mem. It seems that Rishonos Tamik Sheros. That the first one is always kosher. Afim Lochot Acheronos. Even if you left the second ones intact, it's still kosher through the first tzitzis. But they didn't pass their way to passing. You have to get rid of at least one of the sets. At least one of the sets. One of the 2 sets. This is why the Ramah writes in the Sifah where the base Yosef rules like the Rambam. Because and the Ramah writes, some people say it's kosher no matter what. This is primary. But before you cut off the first ones, it's still possible. That's the end of the quote for Zeu Das Hator. This is what the Ramah means to say. Some people say it's kosher no matter what. Where you cut the first ones and left the second ones. Or you cut the second ones, leave the first ones. And regardless of whether you had a mind to negate the first tzitzis, or you had a mind to add on the first tzitzis, there's no difference. As long as you cut off one from each corner, the others are kosher. And before you cut them off, it's possible no matter what. That would you say you cut the first ones? Because that's the case. We cut those off. Evidently the first ones were not so muhudar, and you want to put in the second ones, which are more muhudar, something of that case. But there's no difference which ones you cut. Like he wrote, there's no reason to distinguish between which ones you cut. Then he brings down in the brackets. Obviously, according to the Rambam, the first one's always possible because putting in the second ones made the first ones possible. Tesvav, Vida. You should know the ancients ask big questions for the garments we wear. Why don't we make tzitzis them? Such as our top coat, which at the time Arukh HaShulchan was almost always a frock, no matter who you were. I sometimes say I wear a frock because Teddy Roosevelt wore a frock, right? It's not a religious thing. Our top coats have 4 corners. But they're all on one side. There are 2 of them up here, right? One on this side and one on that side. And 2 of them down below, right? One on this side, one on that side. Now it's true when there's a garment like this connected behind it, kolnar, which you call collar. Even though the corners are squared, since these 2 corners on the collar are not directly opposite those two corners on the bottom, which are down towards the ground, the collar on top. It's not a garment of 4 corners. Because the 4 corners have to be opposite each other. But below collar, but were we not to have a collar, such as in the old days shirts which didn't have their own collar. They just had collar was added on later on. They had just a square on top of the shirt. They should be because the corners are opposite each other. They write Halvushim Mitzrayim, Hayikoim Guchesh, Guches, Hukole, Afishim Arba Knafim, even Knafim in their four corners, Pturim. Vodim Babushim Shoglios Bnei Ashkenaz Sfarad. And so to be live in Germany and Spain. Having Kamfam Aslim Shushnam, Shnayflam Bashlam Machram, Mechubanim Zekin Egazez, it's not made two in front, two in back, directly opposite each other, Piturin Akan Lishono. Mishnah Bur writes that's the name of Avram, since the halacha is not 100% clear, it's called fefes, so therefore you should round off one corner. The af shall p af shall p shabatarkosu stankan febi deyem, even though it says generically the corners, but we know that their garments were like those four corners. I think Mexicans have them. I forgot what they're called, which have the large square garments, which they put on top of themselves. They're like artalis, which is called a sudar b'lashon gemara. And they used to wrap themselves there. Medrash. Gabriel decrees base kriyas yamsuf. Gabriel announced the time kriyas yamsuf. Yizor bosam shenosim shnei tzitzios lachoreim. Be careful about those who are wearing two tzitzis on the back of their garments. I'm not sure what it's referring to. But v'av shadayin lo nidna Torah, even though it's before man the Torah, halo avos kimu atorah shel nidna, for Yishom livnei machreim, the avos fulfilled the entire Torah, was given and bequeathed it, to their children after them. Tez zayin, v'zel teretz abgadim el yonim. That answers maybe for shirts. Ava beged atachton, although I'm not sure. It says beged elyon, so it seems like it's something which is on top of the frock, I guess the top coat. Ava beged atachton shekonis sardut or frock. The frock coat, Prince Albert, Shem Psuchim Yivnei Mecharehem, there's another problem, because they're open in the front and in the back, because they have a slit. They have four corners directly opposite each other. Why do you make tzitzis in them? The Rashba responds, evidently it also had cuts in front and cuts in back. It's not called the garment of four corners. Only a talis which is completely open. But garments where they are connected and are sewn together on top. It's not a garment of four corners. And people obviously admitted not to put tzitzis in them. From the simple meaning of the Rashba, it seems anytime it's connected on top, such as in the back of our garments where the slit is, it's not a garment of four corners. Some of them days the Marik learned this way. Marik Shurish Marik himself argues on them. The that only works when most of the garment is connected. But if most of it is open, and a minority of it is closed, it's liable for tzitzis. Because Shekain Kosa Ram Rudenberg, Rabbeinu Simcha, that's a Maram Rudenberg, Rabbeinu Simcha, right as well. So by a short jacket, like I'm wearing now, there is no problem because most of the back of the garment is sewn up, and the slit is relatively small. By a frock, Prince Albert, it's more of a problem because the slit is longer than it is, and maybe even be longer than the sewn together part, and that's why there is a chumrah, at least, to round off a corner of a frock in the back, so there will not be a problem of having to require tzitzis.